Hey guys, welcome into another episode, Little Bit of Life podcast with your host, Little. We're in season 3. Super excited, bringing you all the topics that we seem to think but don't say. I have an amazing company on with me today that I just kind of fell into. It's something that when you connect in the community in regards to something you're passionate about, it's almost like a web. We're all interconnected. And I have Adam on with me who runs Operation 300. Can you explain about this fantastic company? I am in awe of what you guys do.
Thank you so much for having me on, first of all, and I'm excited to have all your listeners hear about what we're doing here in the state of Florida and really for Gold Star and White Star families all over our nation. So Operation 300 is a nonprofit. It was started in 2012, September 2012. It's in honor of my brother-in-law, Aaron Carson Vaughn, who was a Navy SEAL. He was killed tragically on August 6, 2011 in Extortion 17, which is a shoot down to date is the largest loss of life for naval special warfare. Aaron was on SEAL Team 1 for many years. He was a butt instructor, and eventually he finished his career out on SEAL Team 6. And that was unfortunately the tragedy that happened on August 6, 2011. And out of that shoot down, we don't know the total number for sure, but we figure around 30 kids lost their father on that one tragic shoot down. And out of that, my wife, Aaron's sister, Tara, started thinking, looking at his, our niece and nephew. I believe Reagan was about 2 at the time, and Chamberlain was only about 11 weeks old when he was killed. And thinking, man, my brother was an outdoorsman. He loved to hunt and fish and surf and, rebuild his truck and all sorts of things like that. Who's going to teach these kids that just lost a father what their dads would have done? Because the men that are in the service are very similar kind of mindset and personality. So she came up with this idea to start a program, adventure camps for kids who have lost their fathers in the military. And what we do is we fly moms and kids from all over the nation, free of charge to them. All the money is raised. They fly into Stuart, Florida, actually Palm Beach. And the moms stay in a hotel down there and have a nice mom retreat weekend. And the kids are sent up to Stuart, where we have 20 acres. And we pair them with a male mentor. So someone my age, I would have a couple kids for the weekend, keep up with them. And we do sailing and fishing and archery and shooting. And we've flown planes and we've done surf camp and all sorts of things that you would think you would want to do in the great state of Florida here, and enjoying the ocean. And, some of these kids have never even seen the ocean. So we take kids in from age 8 to 18 where they graduate out. And they can come back every year. We have a nice mix of returning and new every single camp. We do about 6 or 7 camps a year, and that's one of our main programs that we do through Operation 300.
I love that you're stepping in as almost that mentor. I think a lot of civilians don't understand when there is a loss of a family member, especially a father figure and a father role in a family, that is detrimental to children's upbringing. They're teaching them everything that they know. But I came from a military family. You're not only learning how to kind of navigate life, you're learning everything from scheduling to just being and growing up in that lifestyle and responsibility. So it's amazing that you're mentoring these children when they feel like they've almost just been forgotten and lost about. I feel like once that funeral happens, it's almost, you just become another number. The families become a number, and the children are something that we really need to focus on, especially now with everything going on.
Absolutely. You're absolutely right. I mean, these families, not only when you're, maybe in the Army or, you're moving from base to base and school to school when the husband gets transferred, or the wife. I mean, we've had a father come with his son who's lost his wife. So, that is a massive life change that's happening. Not only are you dealing with the grief of losing your husband, losing your dad. Now you're dealing with, okay, we have a month to get off base, switch schools, find a job, do all sorts of things. It kind of depends on their insurance package and what they had, kind of set up for their family. But a lot of these families, it's a real blow outside of just the grief of losing a parent and a loved one. So it's one of those things where we really see the kids come in. We're not licensed psychologists. We're here to do things they would have done with their dad. The weekend's there for them to have fun, have some adventures together, teach them a few things. If they want to open and talk, we're here to listen and talk to them. But I think the strength of it is they are surrounded by other children that are in a similar situation without it being spoken. So they all come in, they all know they have this thing. So when they go to school, they're not like the other kids. They might be the only kid in their class that's lost a parent. Maybe some parents have been divorced and dad's not in the home, but, we feel like these men didn't walk out on their families. They walked in front of all of us for our freedom. And so the least we can do is take care of the families left behind.
I think it's almost something that's not really well known in the civilian community. Everyone almost thinks when there is a loss, especially in a family, the families are well taken care of, which they are. But like we've talked about, it's something that extends way beyond for years and years. It's something that the family will never get over, and it's a grieving process. So I love that you're allowing children to so-called grieve together, like you said, without having to speak about it and talk about it, because it's almost a mechanism with children. It's playtime, and it's something that they enjoy doing. And that's a form of a grief process for children that many don't realize that's detrimental for them.
Mm-hmm. And we see kids they come in with heavy loads. And, unfortunately, over the last 10 years, when we first started, we started very, very small. There's not a list of, okay, here's a database of every single Gold Star family in America. So it had to kind of spread organically. We started in the SEAL community because that was our community, and kind of spread from there. It's for all branches of the military, obviously. But we see these kids come in with a very heavy load. And I love to see when they're leaving camp, just the lightness, fun, they're laughing. They're just kids again. They're exhausted from the weekend, that's for sure, too. So moms love that when we send it back to them. But, it's a really good time with them on the weekends. And it's great to just see them kind of return back to being a kid again.
So what are some highlights? What are some things that you want to share with listeners, and especially those that are watching this video? Maybe there is a family out there that's maybe struggling or grieving. What are some of the highlights and just those amazing moments that you want to share with us?
Sure. When the kids come in, it's always great to see on Friday night. It's kind of connecting with them. There's this kind of awkwardness. We don't know them. They don't know us. But I will tell you, on midday Saturday, these kids just, I have two girls of my own. So I typically have girl campers because I'm very comfortable having, maybe a 14-year-old girl, because that's what I have in my house. And so, just being able to just give them a side hug and taking pictures of them and really letting them know that, like, they have my undivided attention for the whole camp weekend. I think it means a lot to them. At first it's kind of this, oh geez, they're taking pictures, but they love every minute of it because they're getting that full experience and that attention of a man that's missing in their lives. Some of these families, the moms are remarried. Maybe it happened a year ago, but it's not the same. These kids still deserve the privileges that these kids get by coming in because their fathers paid the ultimate sacrifice. I mean, one of my favorite things to do with them, obviously, is go out on the water with them. The kids love getting out sailing and fishing, and seeing a kid, out in the ocean, pull up a yellowfin tuna, or pull up, a wahoo or something like that. It's priceless to see their face and be able to get those pictures and share them back with their moms. I mean, memories are being made, for a lifetime when they come into these camps, which is really great.
Mm-hmm. For those that are listening, I know there's a bunch of you right now that are sitting going, man, this is incredible. How did I not know about this? And like you said, it's growing and expanding through word of mouth. So how can listeners get involved with Operation 300?
So the best thing that a listener can do is first go to our website. Our website's got all of our information. It's got videos. You're going to be able to see highlights of what's going on, what we actually do, the kids that are coming in. You can see pictures there, information, events are on there. And really, that's the place to start. On the homepage, halfway down, it says stay in the know. If you put in your email address there, you're going to get all of our email updates. And then follow us on social media as well. We have a pretty nice following on social media that's growing. And you can kind of stay up with all of our events and things coming up and what we're doing for the weekend that way. The biggest need that we have from listeners is a financial need. Just like, any organization, nonprofit organization, we can only run because people are so unbelievably generous. And we have a really nice footprint in our county and the surrounding counties, and really the state of Florida. When our governor, Ron DeSantis, was sworn in, when he was elected for the first time, we were actually chosen as his charity of choice for the state of Florida, which was amazing. And that was nice exposure for our state. And, we've had the amazing opportunity to be on Fox News and some other media outlets to kind of share our message. But really what our listeners could do is really give and contribute financially, whether that's monthly or a one-time donation. We also have a section on our website that's called the 300 Club. We have several people that have committed to do this. That is, they're committing to give $300 a month for 3 years, or they're going to write a check for 3 years for $3,600. And so that exclusive club gets you merchandise and gear. It gets you discounts on our events. It gets you tickets and things like that back. But it's also a very nice support to the organization because we can count on those monthly donations that are coming in to help us budget, figure out how many camps we can do, the flights. Obviously, with inflation over the last couple of years, a camp that used to maybe cost us $40,000 to fly everybody in is now costing $70,000 to do a camp. So, everybody's feeling it, but we don't want to shut down what we're doing. We're going to forge ahead, and we're going to continue on building out our property, which we have 20 acres to make that nicer for kids. Lots of needs there as well. So if you're a person that can donate any kind of material, or you have ideas, or you can commit to a building or a cabin, that would be amazing. We do have 5 bunkhouses out there, an admin building. We have a couple pole barns out there, so we can function how we're doing it. But on the 300 Club, if you go to the bottom, there is a full site plan as well, where you can see the full vision that we're hoping to accomplish over the next 5 years.
I'm sure when this airs, there's going to be a magnitude and multitude of people that are reaching out, not only to hopefully financially. I always say, if you want to put your money somewhere where it matters, this is it. But especially, there might be a lot of listeners within the military community that feel like their child needs this. So what is the selection process when you get a multitude of families? How do you select those children based on the number of bunks you have, and obviously with the cost and inflation?
So obviously that's the hardest thing for our family, is to have to put anybody on a wait list or turn anybody away. But unfortunately, there is a capacity. So how families get connected into Operation 300 is they go to their website, and then they go to our programs, and underneath there's Camp Valor, Gold Star Kids camps. Click on that. There's an application process that the parent would fill out for their kids on there. It is a first come, first serve. And we also leave certain spots to have returning campers coming back. We do our very best to fill those spots, get everybody in the month that they want to come. That works with their family schedule. But if it doesn't work out because the camp gets full, unfortunately, they get put on a wait list. Now, being on a wait list doesn't mean that you can't come to camp, because inevitably life happens and families may cancel last minute, but it might be a last minute request to say, hey, can you come in 2 weeks to camp? But go ahead and put your name in, get on the list, get in the system, so that when we were reaching out for 2024, your name's in the mix and we can be reaching out to you.
So what does the future look like for Operation 300? What are your goals that are coming up?
So great question. We have more programs that we want to expand into. Actually, this weekend coming up will be our 4th Gold Star Fathers Retreat weekend. So we're flying in about 12 men who have lost their sons in the military. So a lot of times there's not a lot out there for the parents that have lost a child in the military. And as a family that, my mother and father-in-law have lost a son, we've realized there's just not a lot of resources out there for the parents as well. So we're flying in the men, and they do gator hunts and skeet shooting and deep sea fishing and things like that. Really get to spend time out at camp bonding with other men. We actually partner with Operation Restored Warrior out of Colorado, which is a facility where military personnel can go in that are struggling with PTSD. And so we actually bring in Paul from that organization, and he does a couple teaching with the men as well. So that's one program that we're looking to expand and develop. So any Gold Star fathers out there that want to apply, you can apply through the website as well. We are also looking at launching our Freedom Family Tours up in Washington, D.C. and in New York City. Through the connections over the last 10 years, we've been able to connect with a lot of different people in the government, people in our community here that are involved in the government. So that might include some private tours of the Capitol building, the White House, seeing the monuments, and then taking the railroad up to the 9/11 Museum in New York, where we'd have a private tour for those families. One of our board members, highly involved in our organization, is Tim Brown. And Tim Brown was a fireman that was at Ground Zero that I think he personally pulled out about 70 to 100 people out of the rubble himself. He lost about 100 friends. He was in Giuliani's office at the time. So he's got a wealth of knowledge and history of the 9/11 Museum that's pretty cool that he can take the families through. I know for Aaron, that was the reason why he joined. So there's always a connection there. He actually, it was the day after 9/11, without telling his mom and dad, he just went and signed up for the SEAL Challenge. And so I remember he came back then, and Billy, his dad, said, you realize if you don't make it as a Navy SEAL, you're on a boat for the, for your duration. And he's like, I'm making it, I'm going to do it. And he did it. He's actually on the wall for first time every time, because he completed every evolution the first time through. And that's a very select group of people that are on that wall, which is pretty cool.
Wow. It's such an amazing way to also keep his legacy alive, because you're not only changing children's life, but you're changing parents and those that are connected as well. If you had to pick one moment that was your key moment that you will never forget, that really impacted and changed your life, what would it be with this company?
Well, I mean, I think for me, just walking through seeing Aaron pass and doing his job of what he wanted to do, I had a unique perspective from being the son-in-law to the family. Mm-hmm. And so, that was huge. That was impactful, obviously. And really, through that tragic loss, our families, Christians, to see them press into God and not push him away was pretty incredible. I think that was probably one of the most impactful things that I saw through that. And then I think, honestly, the most other impactful thing that I've seen is just, I know it sounds weird, but over the last 10 years, seeing the community of people and this nation rally around what we're doing. People ask my wife all the time, like, oh, can you help us start a nonprofit? How did you do this? And she's like, I didn't know what I was doing. Like, we didn't know what we were doing. We just started something, and, and it snowballed and it grew and people got behind it. And just to have those moments where it's not the, wow, we were on TV on Steve Harvey to do this. It's the moments where you see people in the community say, I'm going to give you $50,000 check in the mail today. And we have no idea who they are. Mm-hmm. I think that's, just seeing the heart of our people, of our community that care for the military, and especially military that have paid the ultimate sacrifice, is incredible.
Yeah. For those that are listening and you may think, I want to give to this company, but maybe financially right now you just don't have the means to do so, I highly encourage you. It's just like he said, it's based on a community and it's networking together. Share this podcast, share their social media. You may connect with someone that connects with someone else that is able to give financially, or is able to come up with an idea that may just be completely out of the box that's able to help this company. Word of mouth is massive. Social media is our biggest asset right now, especially for nonprofits, to help each other. But not only are you helping each other by spreading the word, but you're also going to be helping so many families. You may connect with a family that you didn't even know needed this, or a parent that may just have been grieving on their own in silence that may actually need to hear this episode and think, this is really something we need for our entire family.
Absolutely. You're absolutely right. The more people, even if you can't give financially, just spreading the word, following us on social media, reposting things, putting things on your story. I've had so many different connections with people because someone shared something and it's kind of gone out, and then they've reached out to me via email or direct message through social media, and I'm able to connect back with them. And now they're highly involved in the organization. So you never know who knows who. We all have our own sphere of influence, and every single person knows people that I don't know and that you don't know. And so each sphere can really, multiply out the message of what's going on.
Absolutely. Well, I am so honored to have had you on and talk about your company, especially in a world where it just seems like we always are interested in the story in the moment. And then once that story passes, we're always on to the next. But we always seem to forget about the families, the grief process, and what the future looks like for these families, these children. But it's also something that it seems like I can tell from your reaction when I even asked you what was your favorite moment. It's impacting you, every single child and every single family that you work with, which is truly incredible.
Thank you. Thank you very much for having me on. I want to remind everybody, if you go to our website, it's op300.org, or you can just Google Operation 300. We will come up, op300.org. We have merchandise. We have all your opportunities to volunteer there. We have ways to give on there. We have the 300 Club on there, and we'd love for you to be a part. Follow us on social media and help spread the word about Operation 300, caring for Gold and White Star families.
As you guys know, I will always put all the information in the bio, so it's a quick link. You don't have to search. You don't have to type. All you have to do is click that button. Thank you guys for listening, and let's see how many shares we can get on this episode. I'm truly challenging every single one of you. Share it to 10 people. I know everybody has at least 10 people in their circle that they can share it to. Let's get this word out, and let's get this company just booming for every single family that needs it out there today.
Thank you so much for having me on today. It was awesome.